Today we'll be doing the integral from 0 to infinity of sine x over x dx. And to start off, we will consider the Laplace transform of f of x over x is the same thing as saying the integral from 0 to infinity e to the minus sx f of x over x dx. And we will notice that e to the minus sx over x is the integral from s to infinity e to the negative yx dy. And so we're going to have this is equal to the integral from 0 to infinity and then the integral from s to infinity of e to the minus yx f of x dy dx. Exchanging the order of integration, we're going to have the integral from s to infinity and then the integral from 0 to infinity of e to the minus yx f of x dx dy. But that's just going to be the integral from s to infinity of the Laplace transform of f of x. But in terms of y, dy. So that's the Laplace transform of f of x over x. And so we're going to consider the integral from 0 to infinity e to the minus sx sine of x over x dx. And notice that when s is equal to 0, we're going to have the integral from 0 to infinity sine of x over x dx. But that's the integral we want. But this is the same thing as the Laplace transform of sine of x over x. And applying this rule here, we're going to have the integral from s to infinity of the Laplace transform of sine of x in terms of y dy. That's the integral from s to infinity of the Laplace transform of sine of x in terms of y will be 1 over y squared plus 1 dy. And so we're going to have the arctangent of y from s to infinity. So we're going to have the limit as y approaches infinity of the arctangent of y minus the arctangent of s. But that's going to be pi over 2 minus the arctangent of s. So now we have the integral from 0 to infinity e to the minus sx sine of x over x dx. This is equal to pi over 2 minus the arctangent of s. So now letting s equal 0. So now we have that therefore the integral from 0 to infinity of sine of x over x dx is just pi over 2 minus the arctangent of 0. But that's clearly 0, and so this is just equal to pi over 2. So that is the final result to this integral. Thank you very much for watching.